Hello guys, so in this video we are going to provide the tips for the first time home buyers or even the home buyers who would want to have the best of the tips. So first of all, number one tip would be the budgeting. We all need to consider, like, while we are trying to budget, how much money will be required that we pay in the down payment, as a mortgage, or any amount of expenses. We need to figure it out well beforehand so that we can have a budget planning well, so that the amount of money that is required is pretty much same than what we have or what is the expectation. So number one is the moving expenses. Like, normally we do not think about how much money will be required for the moving of the goods and the stuff, like moving your bedding, your housing, your appliances, each of the things, and many of the other things that we count not on. Eventually that may be a significant amount of cost, so we need to write it down, what is the moving cost, so that we have it in our budget listing. The next thing that we need to understand is the mortgage expenses. Normally what we think is that mortgage is like the monthly expenses itself that we need to give upon, but there are some of the added stuffs that we need to pay. So rather than just thinking, okay, this is the monthly mortgage thing, we need to also figure out what are the additional expenses that we'll be required to pay. Like, for example, there is a property mortgage, private mortgage insurance, PMI, that is paid once the 20% of the down payment is not met. Like, initially you have not paid up till 20%, that means you will have to pay PMI, or probably the property tax. So you need to figure it out, what all are the extra expenses that is involved within the mortgage, so that you have a better idea where you're heading towards, what is your exact budget. The next thing that we need to figure out is the maintenance cost. Like, you need to see how much is the maintenance that will be required, probably in the roofing, because see what happens in this case, ideally when you are renting a home, your house owner takes care of all the things, the changing of the appliances, the windows, the roofings, the dents, any of the thing that needs to be replaced and repaired, the heater not working, it is the problem of the house owner. But once you're buying a house, it becomes your problem. So these are also your costs that you need to think about. In fact, on average it is found like 1 to 2% of the entire home's cost you need to reserve for your expenses or the repairing yearly basis. Let's say your house was like $200,000 cost, so 1% will be 2,000, 2% will be 4,000. 2 to 4% on average is required for the house maintenance every year. So with that thing in mind, you'll always be ready to have your budgeting done, or probably to be ready with extra cash that you need to spend. Then the next thing that you need to figure out is the emergency fund. Because see, what we are considering when we are trying to buy a house is that, okay, this is the amount of money that we need to pay, this is the mortgage, and okay, let's just get it because we have this much amount. But remember, there are other factors also that come in. Once you have bought the house, immediately you might be needing some of the, like, let's say medical emergency, let's say your job lost, let's say some sort of situation arose, like some immediate funds that you need. So you need to really have the emergency fund reserved for you, and then you take out the cost for the your home buying. Normally it is at 6 months of your job savings you need to have. Yes, it might be tough, but it is as a good move or a good motive for your own benefit. Then the next thing that we need to figure out is the down payment. Like, what is the down payment that we are going to give? Normally it is said 20% is the down payment that people give, but the thing is 20% down payment, I mean, why 20% down payment? Because normally it is said that if you're paying 20% down payment, obviously it's a significant sum of money, but that will save you, I mean, first of all, that will give you better rates. The amount of money that you need to return back will be less, so obviously the amount, eventually the rates will multiply it to be like you paying the remaining amount to be less. But at the same time, there is additional private mortgage insurance that I talked about. So the rule is 20% if you're paying 20% of the down payment, then you don't have to pay the private mortgage insurance. If you're paying less than 20%, you'll have to pay that. For example, one of the person like used to pay $200 every single month as a private mortgage insurance. So you would want to check out what are the rates and then how do you avoid that. So that to consider in the down payment. Apart from that, if you're not willing to pay 20%, then ensure as less as possible you pay. I mean, yes, you can save the money upfront as an emergency fund or any other thing, because anyways you're paying PMI, so you can pay the less down payment. Next thing you need to understand, like normally it will be the natural instinct that okay, I'm going to look out the home for myself, I'm going to do everything myself rather than any realtors or stuff. But remember, real estate agents are the professionals, because you are not just doing a deal, you are buying a home. It's a long-term investment. You need to really have a lot of lookout for, because a real estate agent is doing this like from years, and a lot of things that will skip to your eye will not be skipping to the real estate agent's eyes. So for the long term, you might be, I mean, yes, immediate short term you might be saving some cost on the real estate agent, but the percentage that he'll take. But for the long term, this is because he will see what is your exact need. He'll already be having a set of listings out there. These are the homes, these are the areas. He can immediately get you through. Otherwise, you doing it yourself, you might look 10 properties not up to the mark, and then eventually you'll have to settle for one. So yes, this is very, very important, and ensure that you hire a buyer's agent, because a seller's agent might be willing to sell a property, so he'll be pushing you towards any of the property that he's biased toward. A buyer's agent will be on your side, and ensure that you hire them by proper interviewing and seeing the good service. I mean, this is the reason the industry exists, because it works, it helps a lot. The next thing that you need to figure out, obviously, when you're seeing the houses, some of the things are replaceable, some of the things like you might think okay, the cleaning can be done, the houses, but some of the things you need to focus on, that how are the house foundations, like is there any problem with the foundation, with the roofing, with the windows, some of the things which are kind of irreplaceable or like very tough to replace. You need to see what if there is any problem that exists in these things, and these things would definitely matter. Then the next thing that you would need to figure out on is the location. Very important factor. In fact, many of the pricing of the houses is done based on the location. If the location is good, the house price will be great. The reason you need to consider the location well, because the location will be determining you will be living there like for a significant period of time. What is the crime rate around? How are the people around? What is the ambience around? You'll have to be there around, and the situation or your location around will drive a lot of factors. So definitely this is one of the lookout for that you need to see for. The next thing is, when you are going out to inspect a house, yes, you might be considering okay, I might get my cousin, get my this relative to see along with me. We can see a lot of things that we look out for, but again, like this might be a boring option, but a home inspector if you hire, because these people are the professionals, they know what all things are to look out for. They'll compile the information and give it to you, helping you make the best of the decisions. So hiring a home inspector could be one of the option. One of the good option that you can think of. Then the next, last but not the least, is that do not think that negotiation is not on the table. Try to see how much that you can push down upon, because obviously the seller also might be interested in selling as high as possible. The buyer is interested in buying as low as possible. Do not think that it's a fixed price. It's always a perception based sort of thing. If let's say a seller really desperately wants to sell his house, he'll be selling for a far lower cost than a seller who's not so desperate. So it's a relative perception kind of a thing, people to people dealing. So ensure that you see around how much that you can negotiate, which is still under the comfort zone of the other person, but still towards your comfort zone as well. So these are the tips, guys, for the first time home buyers that you can consider. Definitely, if you put your thoughts towards it, eventually you might be getting one of the best deals, and you'll be happy with your decision, because this is a sort of a thing that you'll have to live off for the next a decade or more than that, however long that you are there in that particular house. So I hope that you found the tips helpful, guys, and give a thumbs up to this video if you did, and subscribe to my channel, because I'll be giving you on this channel a lot of tips, not just on the housing, on the finances, on your credit scores, on your debts, on making extra incomes, everything about your finances and about your daily lives. So thanks a lot for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.